of the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office. So there you have it, Sheriff. The cops didn't need to use that amount of force to subdue a 12-year-old and other family members.
First of all, that was a textbook response by the police department, totally appropriate, an appropriate use of force. I think even a little more force would have been reasonable under the circumstances. They were getting no compliance to their lawful commands. I'm getting sick and tired of people engaging the police in these situations, not complying with their lawful commands, resisting arrest, fighting the police, and think that the police should just go home.
They say it wasn't a lawful command. That seems to be where they're going. It wasn't a law. When he was stopping her, demanding her ID, etc., she had no obligation to comply.
Megan, it's not up to her. It's not up to those folks on the scene as to whether it was lawful. That gets solved later on in a court of law through due process. When an officer gives a lawful command, and that lawful command, like if they tell you to jump off a building, that is not a lawful command. But when they say to leave, when they say put your hands behind your back, when they tell you you are under arrest, you must comply. When you get into a physical confrontation with a law enforcement officer, I'd like to use that one for a training tape on how officers should behave and respond in those situations. But when you get into a physical confrontation with a law enforcement officer, you can expect to get hurt, because I expect that officer to win. I expect that officer to use, and I'll answer that attorney's question as to how much force is necessary to get a 12-year-old into custody. Reasonable force, enough reasonable force to overcome, not to meet the resistance, to overcome the resistance. I agree with that, Chief. Those officers acted appropriately. They were clear in their commands. And like I said, they probably could have used other intermediate weapons, batons, tasers, to meet that physical resistance. They didn't. That was restraint beyond the call of duty. And like I said, I am tired of these individuals thinking that they can confront the police in these situations and that the police are just going to back off.
And now there's an allegation of racism as well, racism and excessive force. And
there's no racism there. Megan, there's no racism there. I'm tired of that, too. Every time there's a white officer that confronts some black individuals, right away people jump to race. I got one thing for those people in this situation here. I'm talking about this situation. I think there was a racial component. 3 words: shut up already.
Sheriff Clarke, always interesting getting your perspective. Thanks for being here, sir.
My pleasure, Megan.